Contemporary existence resembles a chaotic spectacle, except I find I'm not the one orchestrating it. Rather, I'm the unfortunate individual being perpetually juggled by emails, social media feeds, and the expectations set by others. Concentration. It has seemingly become a scarce commodity, misplaced somewhere between endlessly consuming negative online content and answering text messages I had no desire to respond to initially. But consider this. If I don't prioritize my own needs, who else will step up? If I fail to seize control over my mind, emotions, and actions, I'll remain perpetually like a marionette manipulated by external forces. View success akin to a pianist's development. The public doesn't witness the countless hours invested in practice, the discomfort in their fingers, the moments of frustration where destroying the instrument seems appealing. Yet when they perform on stage with seemingly effortless mastery, the audience is captivated. That illustrates the impact of dedicated, unseen effort. As Epictetus articulated, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid, because genuine success isn't reserved for those seeking constant acclaim. It belongs to individuals patient enough to labor unnoticed. So today, let's delve into methods for prioritizing oneself, cultivating unwavering discipline, and crafting a life so remarkable that when recognition finally arrives, words become unnecessary. If you derive value from this video, please remember to click the like button, subscribe, and activate notifications to ensure you receive all future updates. Number 1. Investigate the origin of distraction. In our current environment, we are practically submerged in distractions. Not merely the overt sounds of urban living, but the unceasing deluge of data, social networking, electronic mail, news alerts, and those relentless notifications illuminating our phones like some digital gambling den. How frequently have I told myself, just another 5 minutes scrolling Instagram, only to glance up and discover an entire hour has evaporated. Distractions don't solely consume time. They pilfer your focus, deplete your energy, and ultimately impede your advancement. We reside in an age where the ability to concentrate is akin to a superpower. Yet, paradoxically, it's constantly being usurped by habits that appear innocuous. Many attribute failure to insufficient talent or misfortune. However, often the actual impediment is distraction. Consider Kevin, for instance. He's an intelligent, driven man with significant aspirations. Each morning, he awakens resolved to acquire new skills, perhaps launch that supplementary business venture, maybe finally delve into the book that's been collecting dust for months. But the instant he reaches for his computer, a notification appears, a news item detailing something provocative. He clicks it, follows another link, then watches a YouTube video. Before realizing it, 2 hours have vanished, taking his motivation along with them. By day's end, Kevin feels drained, yet has achieved nothing substantial. And the most disheartening aspect? He questions why tangible progress seems perpetually elusive. This pattern isn't exclusive to Kevin. It represents a modern-day plague. We harbor objectives, yet minor, seemingly trivial distractions quietly erode our ambitions incrementally. And it is here that the wisdom of Stoicism presents a pathway forward. Epictetus once posed, "If a person gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along so they may disturb you and leave it troubled. Have you no shame in that?" We readily safeguard our physical boundaries, yet we permit virtually anything to trespass upon our mental space. Every instance I get ensnared in an online dispute, allow negative news cycles to spoil my disposition, or invest in hour-consuming content that holds no real interest, I am relinquishing command over my own mind. Stoicism doesn't propose complete withdrawal from the world, but it does instruct us to act as vigilant guardians of our attention. If we neglect to choose what enters our consciousness, we risk being swept away by the insignificant, the pressing, the outrage-provoking trivialities engineered to keep us ensnared. And the longer we remain captivated, the more our lives are dictated by external influences rather than our own volition. Why do distractions wield such power? Because they provide immediate rewards. Social media platforms, video games, continuous streaming services, all are engineered to exploit the brain's dopamine pathways. An amusing video triggers dopamine. A new like on a post releases dopamine. It feels pleasurable momentarily, but the cumulative effect? Profound dissatisfaction. So, how do we reclaim authority? Cultivate awareness regarding your specific distractions. Observe the instances when your focus wavers. Is it your mobile device, particular websites, a habit of procrastination masked as a quick check? Once your triggers are identified, you can begin managing them effectively. Establish clear boundaries. If social media consumes excessive time, implement application limits. If notifications persistently interrupt your work, disable them. Provide yourself with a more significant focal point. Distraction exerts its strongest pull when a robust sense of purpose is lacking. If your goals genuinely inspire you, if you are deeply committed to something larger than fleeting amusement, distractions naturally diminish in appeal. If distraction represents the adversary of success, then discipline stands as your most formidable defense. The pivotal question remains: will you elect to manage your time, or will you permit the world to confiscate it? Are you prepared to regain control? Number 2, the rationale for seizing control of your life. Epictetus once declared, "He is free who lives as he wishes to live, who is neither subject to compulsion, nor to hindrance, nor to force." However, here's a realization many fail to grasp. Freedom isn't merely about unrestrained action at any given moment. That mode of thinking doesn't culminate in independence, but rather in disarray. Genuine freedom originates from self-governance, from the capacity to act in alignment with one's best interests, even when every fiber of being yearns for ease, diversion, or self-indulgence. If you cannot withstand the allure of your impulses, if you allow emotions or indolence to steer your existence, then you lack true freedom. You are essentially confined by your own vulnerabilities, ensnared in a cycle of desiring improvement, but perpetually falling short. Everyone aspires to enhance their lives. Individuals envision financial security, physical strength and well-being, purposeful work, and gratifying relationships. Yet for a significant number, these aspirations remain precisely that: dreams. What is the reason? Because the moment an endeavor demands sacrifice, they withdraw. They desire prosperity, but persist in spending imprudently. They aspire to physical fitness, but consistently avoid exercise. They aim for productivity, yet squander hours navigating their phones, and subsequently question why their circumstances remain unchanged. The Stoics comprehended this phenomenon acutely. Marcus Aurelius inscribed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You cannot dictate every external occurrence, but you possess control over your response, your priorities, and the allocation of your energy." Most individuals readily forfeit long-term achievement for immediate comfort, which is precisely why they remain stagnant. How frequently have I assured myself of a fresh start come Monday? How many times have I established a goal only to abandon it when circumstances became inconvenient? The unvarnished truth is that success doesn't necessitate extraordinary talent. It necessitates discipline. It requires the capacity to decline distractions, pointless arguments, and the craving for instant reward. It insists that you accept accountability for your actions, cease attributing blame to external factors, and acknowledge the straightforward reality: your life directly mirrors the choices you implement daily. The disparity between those who attain their objectives and those who remain immobilized isn't attributable to luck. It hinges on the ability to commit, to consistently show up, to persevere even when motivation wanes. Stoicism teaches that fulfillment arises not from the pursuit of pleasure, but from living purposefully, aligning actions with core values. Do you desire authentic freedom? Then assume control, not over the world nor over other individuals, but over yourself. That is the locus of genuine power. Number 3, the significance of cultivating discipline and sacrifice. Authentic freedom isn't achieved by discarding all limitations. It's realized through mastering oneself. Individuals lacking command over their impulses, emotions, and habits are not truly free. They exist as captives to their own frailties. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." It's an uncomplicated truth, yet one that many find challenging to embrace. We are enamored with the concept of freedom, acting as we please, when we please. But what transpires when our immediate desires are the very things hindering our progress? Consider someone earnestly wishing to transform their life. They aspire to greater health, wealth, discipline, and accomplishment. They define objectives. They formulate ambitious plans. They declare, "This instance I am genuinely committed," and subsequently, nothing alters. Why does this occur? Because despite possessing ambition, they lack the necessary discipline for execution. They continue opting for the snooze button instead of rising early for exercise. They persist in squandering hours scrolling through social media feeds rather than dedicating time to skill development. They habitually postpone action, saying, "I'll begin tomorrow," as though tomorrow represents some enchanted realm where they will miraculously transform. But tomorrow consistently fails to materialize, and devoid of discipline, their goals linger merely as objectives, nebulous, remote, and unfulfilled. Discipline isn't a form of constraint. It functions as a tool preventing aimless drifting. It is the mechanism ensuring your actions correspond with your aspirations. You might possess 100 concepts, 1,000 dreams, but without discipline, They remain nothing more than transient wishes, easily obscured by life's diversions. Discipline entails performing necessary tasks, even when lacking the inclination to do so, because let's be forthright, the desire won't always be present. There will be days marked by exhaustion, inclement weather, lack of motivation, or when distractions appear more enticing than responsibilities. However, success doesn't pause, awaiting your readiness. Individuals achieving remarkable feats are those who take action irrespective of their emotional state. Consider someone like J.K. Rowling. Prior to becoming one of history's most accomplished authors, she navigated life as a single parent reliant on public assistance, grappling with financial hardship. She could easily have resorted to excuses. She experienced exhaustion, felt overwhelmed, and confronted repeated rejections from publishing houses. Yet she didn't await ideal circumstances. She pursued her writing in coffee shops, often with her infant sleeping nearby. She persevered despite numerous setbacks. That exemplifies discipline. Her success wasn't attributable to mere fortune. It wasn't solely a matter of talent. It stemmed from unwavering persistence, writing when disinclined, pushing through self-doubt, disregarding distractions. She prioritized progress over comfort, and that sacrifice fundamentally altered her existence. Success invariably entails a cost. No one attains greatness while leading a life of ease and indulgence. Do you aspire to greater strength? You must sacrifice comfort. Do you desire a flourishing career? You must relinquish unproductive habits. Do you seek financial autonomy? You must exercise control over spending instead of yielding to every impulse. The reality is that most individuals remain unwilling to undertake these sacrifices. They desire success but resist the inherent struggle. They admire the outcomes achieved by disciplined individuals, yet they decline to adopt the discipline themselves. This is the reason they remain stagnant, perpetually wishing, seldom acting. One of Stoicism's core tenets involves acting discreetly. Publicizing your hard work is unnecessary. Validation from others is not required. You simply need to maintain consistency, remain focused, and permit your results to serve as their own testament. Individuals lacking inner strength crave acknowledgement for their endeavors. They rely on praise as fuel to continue. But resilient individuals require only one thing: commitment to themselves. If you are proceeding correctly, you will recognize it. It will be evident in how you allocate your time. A disciplined person devotes time to genuinely significant pursuits instead of squandering it on distractions. They forgo temporary gratification for long-term rewards. They labor quietly, understanding that when results manifest, explanations become superfluous. The world will witness it firsthand. Discipline presents challenges. Sacrifice presents challenges. Yet there exists no shortcut, no alternative path, no clandestine formula for achieving meaningful success. It boils down to the minor decisions made daily, whether to yield to the snooze button or awaken, whether to fritter away time or invest it wisely, whether to indulge in comfort or push beyond personal limits. The positive aspect: every decision represents an opportunity to assume control, to advance closer to your objectives, to embody the person you aspire to become. The sole query remains: are you prepared to undertake the necessary actions? Number 4. Scheduling and concentration. Success isn't founded upon hopeful desires or sporadic surges of motivation. It emerges from deliberate actions, consistently repeated with discipline over extended periods. This constitutes a foundational principle of Stoicism: careful planning combined with unwavering focus. Observe your surroundings, and you'll likely note that certain individuals appear to achieve significantly more than others. This disparity isn't due to possessing additional hours in the day or inherently superior abilities. The crucial difference lies in their utilization of time. Time itself remains beyond direct control, yet the manner in which you allocate it rests entirely upon choice. Marcus Aurelius stated it unequivocally: if you don't have a consistent goal in life, you can't live it in a consistent way. Lacking a distinct objective and a structured approach leads to aimless drifting, constantly occupied yet never truly advancing. Visualize a vessel without a predetermined course, perpetually subject to the whims of wind and currents. An existence lacking deliberate intention mirrors this: continuous movement without genuine progress. So, how does one guarantee that time isn't squandered? A strictly rigid schedule isn't mandatory, but a systematic approach is essential. If aspiring to accomplish something significant, structure your days accordingly. Allocate specific blocks of time for focused, deep work. Minimize distractions and establish clear priorities. If writing is your goal, commit to a daily, uninterrupted session. If fitness improvement is desired, schedule workouts with the same importance as critical meetings. If building a career is the objective, cease occupying time with activities that don't contribute to forward movement. A paradox exists. The most disciplined individuals often experience the greatest freedom. By taking command of your time, You liberate yourself from procrastination, inefficient effort, and the burden of inactivity guilt. However, in the contemporary world, distractions abound. Your phone, social media platforms, incessant notifications, perpetual news cycles. Without actively safeguarding your focus, it will inevitably be compromised. Stoic philosophers possessed a profound understanding of this. Epictetus taught that self-control forms the bedrock of inner tranquility. You cannot control external events, but you can govern your response to them. Discipline is challenging. Sacrifice is challenging. Yet there exists no shortcut, no alternative path, no clandestine formula for achieving meaningful success. It reduces to the small choices implemented daily, whether to yield to the snooze button or awaken, whether to squander time or invest it wisely, whether to indulge in comfort or push beyond personal limits. The encouraging news: every decision represents an opportunity to assume control, to advance closer to your objectives, to embody the person you claim to desire becoming. The solitary question remains: are you willing to commit to the necessary actions? Number 5. Emphasize the process, not solely the outcome. Were you aware that Olympic gold medalists frequently report experiencing a profound sense of emptiness following their victory? Research indicates that upon achieving their lifelong ambition, numerous athletes grapple with a diminished sense of purpose, recognizing the transient nature of the triumph itself. Why does this occur? Because genuine fulfillment doesn't originate from a singular moment of achievement. It stems from the journey undertaken. In an era obsessed with quantifiable metrics, income, reputation, accomplishments, we often overlook the reality that true value resides not in reaching the destination, but in the manner of arrival. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, reminds us that before embodying a certain identity, we must first clearly define our true desires and then commit wholeheartedly to the process of realizing them. Everyone desires success, a prosperous career, a robust physique, a meaningful existence. Yet how many individuals allocate time for reflection on the process itself, rather than fixating solely on the results? When our focus rests exclusively on outcomes, we predispose ourselves to disappointment. Success rarely manifests instantaneously. It is constructed gradually through perseverance, encountering failure, and absorbing the lessons learned en route. We frequently admire successful entrepreneurs, artists, and athletes without acknowledging the years of unseen exertion, the sacrifices made, and the moments of self-doubt they overcame. We observe the summit of the mountain, but disregard the arduous, treacherous ascent required to reach it. However, here lies the truth. If you cultivate an appreciation for the climb itself, fulfillment isn't contingent upon reaching the peak. Each step taken, every struggle endured, every effort exerted possesses inherent value. That encapsulates the potency of Stoic thinking. You achieve success not merely by accomplishing something specific. You achieve success by evolving into the type of individual capable of such accomplishment. A marathon runner crossing the finish line represents a significant moment. Yet without preceding months of rigorous training, enduring fatigue, and cultivating the discipline to push through exhaustion, that moment would remain unattainable. Their muscles strengthen progressively with each stride. Their stamina increases with every run. Similarly, an entrepreneur cannot solely concentrate on the envisioned outcome of success. They must embrace the daily hurdles of team building, problem solving, and learning from setbacks. It is the process itself that molds them into individuals capable of sustaining success. The issue with pursuing results exclusively often leads to frustration. In today's rapidly paced world, where immediacy prevails, patience dwindles when success requires time. But Stoicism teaches that instead of fixating on the outcome, our focus should be directed toward controllable elements: our effort, our discipline, and our capacity for persistence. You cannot control whether others acknowledge your accomplishments, but you can control the manner in which you work daily. You cannot guarantee immediate success, but you can ensure unwavering commitment and avoid quitting. When you develop an affinity for the process, you gain mastery over your emotions. You cease being driven by external validation or comparisons with others. The sole relevant competition becomes a comparison with your former self. Stoicism doesn't advocate abandoning ambition. It advocates directing it judiciously. Those prioritizing the process above the outcome discover tranquility throughout their journey. Working diligently without necessitating applause or immediate rewards cultivates an inner resilience that remains unshakable. So, the next occasion you feel disheartened due to unrealized goals, inquire: am I deriving satisfaction from this process? If the answer is affirmative, you are already surpassing most individuals. If negative, perhaps a shift in perspective is warranted because results merely serve as milestones. However, the journey itself is what truly shapes you into the individual you aspire to become. Number 6. Utilize solitude to fortify inner resolve. Within today's clamorous and disorderly world, there exists an underestimated source of strength few people acknowledge: solitude. However, diverging from the negative association with loneliness, the solitude endorsed by Stoicism isn't a condition of emptiness or detachment. Instead, it represents a state of quietude, a refuge where one can withdraw from external clamor and cultivate inner fortitude. It is within this space that we not only discover peace, but also rejuvenate our capacity to concentrate on objectives, liberated from the distractions of the external environment. According to Stoic philosophy, we should not permit factors beyond our control, such as others' opinions, external situations, or everyday diversions, to disrupt our internal equilibrium. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca reminds us, highlighting that many anxieties originate internally rather than from tangible events. This underscores why solitude isn't an evasion of life, but rather a means to cultivate self-mastery. By disengaging from the surrounding noise, we regain command over our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The solitude advocated by Stoicism isn't about shunning society or severing connections. It involves carving out mental space to foster clarity and purpose. Consider an artist, author, or innovator deeply engrossed in their craft. To attain peak focus, they must distance themselves from potential disruptions. They silence their phones, bypass trivial conversations, and seek tranquil settings where their minds can fully engage in creative pursuits. It is within this solitude that they access their highest potential, generating works of profound depth and influence. So why does solitude engender strength? Because when the world constantly exerts divergent pulls, detaching from these influences aids in preserving inner harmony. Each of us harbors ambitions and goals demanding focus and perseverance. However, excessive absorption in others' opinions or feeling overwhelmed by the relentless information stream causes us to lose our bearings. Solitude enables recalibration, refocusing on truly significant matters and developing the discipline to pursue them without diversion. Even notable leaders have acknowledged the potency of solitude. Abraham Lincoln once remarked, "I am a success today because I had a friend who believed in me, and I didn't have the heart to let him down." Yet underlying his leadership and vision was the capacity to retreat into contemplation, to process information, and to formulate plans. Steve Jobs, celebrated for his innovation, frequently practiced solitude through extended walks, facilitating deep thought and clear decision-making. These individuals understood that time spent alone is not squandered. It represents an investment in self-awareness and enduring success. Nevertheless, in contemporary society, where individuals are perpetually enveloped by work demands, social commitments, and digital distractions, finding solitude often seems like an extravagance. But in actuality, it constitutes a necessity. Solitude permits life assessment, priority identification, and strategy development for goal achievement. It isn't about withdrawing from the world entirely. It involves stepping back momentarily to refine focus and replenish energy. Ask yourself, can you temporarily withdraw from distractions to prioritize personal growth? Can you labor diligently in silence, independent of recognition or external approval, simply due to conviction in your goals? That embodies the power of solitude. It isn't avoidance. It signifies strength. It forms the foundation for self-respect, resilience, and the capacity to overcome any challenge. Embracing solitude doesn't merely enhance your work quality. It transforms you into a more focused, disciplined, and resolute individual. In a world constantly vying for your attention, possessing the ability to retreat, reflect, and advance purposefully ranks among the greatest strengths attainable. Solitude is not your adversary. It stands as your most valuable instrument. Utilize it, and you will construct a life characterized by clarity, strength, and genuine success. And that concludes it, my friend. Viewed through the lens of Stoic philosophy, we've unearthed a simple yet profound truth. Authentic strength stems from prioritizing oneself, maintaining discipline, and undertaking the necessary work without craving applause. Success operates quietly. It doesn't arise from ostentation or the pursuit of recognition. It is forged during the inconspicuous moments when observation is absent. When you are diligently working, learning, evolving, that is where true power originates. So allow me to inquire, are you prepared to commit fully to your chosen path? To labor diligently in silence? To trust the process rather than seeking external approval? If this resonates deeply, indicate so in the comments using the phrase, "Silence creates strength," because it genuinely does. And once that principle is embraced, nothing can impede your progress. If you found this content valuable, Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to ensure you don't miss future updates. Let's persist in moving forward together, cultivating unwavering discipline, unstoppable resilience, and an existence shaped by purpose. I'll see you in the next video where we continue this exploration of self-mastery and deeper wisdom. Until then, keep striving, keep evolving, and remember, your strength finds its most potent expression in silence.